What do you do when the very people who have talked about you, the very people who have hurt you, hurt your feelings, and even tried to hurt your person or your reputation are now the very people that God has called you to help, to minister to, and to be a blessing to? What do you do with that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about on today's episode of Matcha and Ministry. Now, you may be asking, well, what is Matcha in Ministry? Well, my name is Cheryl Thomas, and I created Matcha in Ministry so that we can take biblical truths from the Word of God and break them down into bite-sized chunks that we can apply to our everyday life in practical ways. So if this is your first time here, welcome to the family. We are so glad to have you join us. Look around, check out some of the other episodes, and if you find that you like what you see, we'd be happy to invite you into the family. So just go ahead and click that like button. And if at the end of this episode you say, hey, I want to stay here, go ahead and subscribe as well. And if you are one of our regulars, welcome back. So glad to have you here again. We're going to jump into the topic of what do you do in that scenario when the very people that spoke like disparagingly of you, that downplayed who you were or did you wrong. Now God is asking you to help. What do? That's exactly what we find in the story of the life of Joseph. It's one of my favorite biblical stories because I believe that most people can relate to where Joseph is and what he went through, from having these fantastic dreams that he tells his brothers, then his father, and have them thinking, oh no, we won't bow to you. I don't know who you think you are, little young child, to being thrown in that pit. Had a change of heart, pulled him out of the pit, but sold him into slavery. Rose to prominence in Potiphar's house, only to have his wife, like what she saw, lied on him because he wouldn't reciprocate, and then thrown into prison before he was elevated to Prince of Egypt, to see his very own brethren coming, begging for bread, and being called and led to help them. Now, I found 3 truths or applications that we can pull from it. And I want to just share those with you quickly from that brief encapsulation of that story. And the first lesson is life be lifing. Now, I know that is so grammatically incorrect, but it just seems like it fits this moment. Because sometimes as believers, we think that just because we are Christians, that we won't go through hardship, that we won't go through turmoil or trial. But the Bible tells us that the godly shall suffer persecution. But Jesus says, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. So yes, life will life on us. We will go through heartache. We will have trials and tribulations. We will have ups and we will have downs. But we have Christ. And because we have him in our lives, we can overcome anything because he has overcome them. The second thing that we'll learn from that is to not give up during the process. Even myself, sometimes I get weary in well-doing, even though the Bible tells us not. I don't know about you, but I do get weary in well-doing. And if you're like me, just help me not feel like I'm by myself. Let me know if in the comments sometimes that feels like you too. But what I am learning is that in the process, we develop the stamina that we need to uphold or to stand under the pressure of the promise. So don't get weary in well-doing. Know that the process is birthing in you the things that you need to stand strong while God walks you into your promise. And the last thing is true forgiveness. To go from being despised, rejected, thrown away, and left for dead, been sold by the very people who were supposed to nurture, to love, and to protect you. And then to have those same people come back to you needing food, needing shelter, and needing protection, and you doing it. And saying to them, you meant evil for this, but God meant good to save many people alive. That you would see the purpose of God in every trial, in every suffering, in every test, and that you would forgive those who perpetrated being just like Jesus said, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't know that I'm the deliverer that's going to have to help them. So I am praying today that we would all have hearts that would say, Lord, help me forgive those who have spoken evil against me, who have done evil against me. Help me see that it is not them, that it is the enemy's devices that may be working through them, so that I can forgive them and be a blessing to them. I hope that these little nuggets have been a blessing to you. And if they have, then I know that you're going to love the full episode that we do on the B podcast every Tuesday at 7 p.m. That's right. We have a live Bible study every Tuesday at 7 p.m. where we go through the entire stories, and then I just recap it here on Matcha Ministry. And if that is something that's of interest to you, I want you to check out the video right here that will take you through that full episode, or just go ahead and click the link in the description. I pray that God blesses you, and we're at the end of the video. If you've liked this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you'll get the notification and you'll know when we upload a new video. And with that said, I think this has been 5 minutes, so we'll let you go. Until next time, have a great week.